My name is Katz, and I grew up here in Camden, New Jersey. Went to public schools, was lucky enough to go to Temple University, graduated Temple University, but in my junior year, I started a program on campus with another young man to bring entertainment to Temple. And part of entertainment was to have a weekly show for free for the students. One of our speakers required a ride from the airport to the campus, and it was part of my job to be the chauffeur. His name was Drew Pearson, and in 1962, he was probably the most renowned journalist in America. His column appeared in 650 newspapers. Not, I might add, in the Philadelphia Inquirer, because Walter Annenberg intensely disliked Drew Pearson. So it appeared on the back page of what was then called the Philadelphia Evening Bulletin. At some point in time in that day, he said to me, "Did you ever think about a career in journalism?" At the time, I was a biochemistry major at Temple, and I said, "Not really." And he said, "Well, if you'd like, maybe you'd come to Washington this summer, live with me, and I'll teach you something about investigative journalism." And so, for the next 3 years, I worked my way through law school, working with this incredible titan of news. And so for me to come here today and to feel like I've come full circle in 50 years and that I'm home, going back to doing something that I loved, that I enjoyed, that I would not have ever left but for the shortage of money to pay reporters. That time, we got $60 a week and thought we were being given a great salary. I share your love and your respect for your profession. The whole notion that I or any of our owners would in any way interfere with the management of the news, with the decision that you must make on what you print, will never happen for a whole host of reasons, not the least of which is, for this enterprise to succeed, your content has to be your content. For people to want to buy these papers the way they have in the history of these newspapers, they're buying not ownership, they're buying the work product of all the good people that have toiled for all these many years in this vineyard. I know it hasn't been easy for anyone, and I know that it's not comforting to deal with all of the issues that each and every one of you have had to deal with. But I will pledge to you that I will give all my effort and all my energy and whatever brain power I have left to trying to turn this enterprise into not only a wonderful journalistic experience, but also a sound, financially successful business so that we all can share in the proceeds. If this is going to work, it only works because of the team. And the team includes each and every person that works in this enterprise. From Leonard, who I've just met and who was kind enough to escort me up here from the back of 15th Street, to the publisher, it can't work unless we all work together and we respect what each and every one of us brings to the enterprise. I know all of my partners feel exactly the same way about this issue as I do, and in point of fact, we signed a document that was presented to us by people in the newsroom with a statement and a pledge to follow through on these words. I'd like also to take this opportunity to thank Ed Rendell. He was the person that called me and asked me if I would be willing to get involved in an enterprise that hopefully could keep the ownership of the Philadelphia papers in local hands. I was reticent at first, but after discussing with him all of the issues, I decided to come out of retirement one more time and see whether or not we could put together a group of owners that would lead this team into a success venture. So thank you, Ed Rendell. We do not want to run the newspapers. We want to merely own them for the benefit of our community. We recognize the trust, the public trust. We understand the importance of your work. Thinking about the story on violence in the school system that was just referred to tells you why you've chosen what you've chosen to do and how important your work is. Thomas Jefferson was right. If he had to choose, he'd choose a newspaper without a government. So I conclude my remarks with a sports story that memorializes how I feel about business. I was a principal owner. By the way, I know you find this hard to believe because he said the Devils and the Nets, but in 2000, we bought half the New York Yankees. And George said to me, no one will ever know that. And look how successful he's been in the last 12 years. As someone said, there is nothing quite as limited as being a limited partner of George Steinbrenner. The Nets were 26 and, I don't know, 56, 82 games. And I was pulling my hair out. And a guy named Rod Thorne, who I had just hired, came in and he said, I'm trading our point guard, Stephon Marbury, who was several years younger with a higher statistical scoring average, for a player named Jason Kidd. And I said to him, are you absolutely nuts? I said, look at the statistics. He said, you can look at all the statistics you want to. You'll see a difference when Jason comes to this team. And so when Jason came, one of our star players said to me on his first day, you will now have a playoff team. We won't be in the lottery as we have been in the last 3 years. And I said, are you crazy? It's the same players. So what happened? Well, he put it well. He said, most people don't know the length of a basketball court. Most fans have no idea how many miles we run every night in spurts. If you have a fast break team, we had a kid named Curry Kittles who was who could fly, that's a long court to run down. And your point guard is the person leading the run. Well, if you keep running and you realize at one point that it doesn't matter how hard you run, how fast you run, you're not going to see the ball at the other end of the court. You probably don't run as hard as you're expected to. With Jason Kidd, if you run hard, you will get the ball. Because what Jason does is make everybody else on this team better. Think about that. What he does is make everybody else on this team better. That's the goal of a strong organization. Making everybody else on the team better. And what happened? The next 2 years, we won the Eastern Conference. In fact, the last year, we won it 4-0, 4-0, and 4-2. All because Jason Kidd changed the concept of leadership and the concept of team. And that's what we're about. Team. No I's, we's. Respect, interest, intelligence. As I said to somebody this morning, if I had to summarize my life's experiences, I would say 3 things make a difference in business. 1, management. Management meaning, in this business, content. It's all about the content. Number 2, capital. The way this deal is structured, you have patient capital. Something that has been missing while we hit the rough spots. And there will be rough spots. And lastly, luck. Never discount the notion of luck. Because when you start to think that that doesn't play a role, you're taking yourself too seriously.